They will try to break us. The moment passed, but it did not end, because in Velmora, nothing that mattered ever truly ended. It shifted, it adapted, and it waited. The door closed behind them, hard, sealing out the corridor, the court, the watching eyes. Elaris did not move at first, her back to the door, her breath steady, but only just. Kael rolled his shoulders slightly where Commander Rhyven had grabbed him. "Your people really know how to make a point," he muttered. She didn't respond, not immediately, because she wasn't focused on the moment. She was feeling beyond it. Through the bond, something else had shifted. Not hunger, not fear, intention. "They won't stop," she said quietly. Kael looked at her. "I figured." She turned, and this time there was no mask at all, only clarity. "They will test us again. And next time," her voice lowered, "it will not be controlled." Kael nodded once. "Then we don't let it catch us off guard." That answer grounded her. Because it wasn't denial, it wasn't fear, it was readiness. "They will not challenge us directly," she said. "They will create situations. A step closer. Pressure, isolation, instability." Kael crossed his arms slightly. "Try to make you lose control. Yes, and separate us. That was the real threat." The bond pulsed faintly, reacting. Elaris felt it immediately. Her gaze sharpened. "That cannot happen." Kael tilted his head. "Then we make sure it doesn't." "You do not understand." Her voice tightened. "If they separate us, the bond becomes unbalanced." That changed everything. "How bad?" he asked. Her answer came quiet, honest. "You would feel the hunger without my control. And I would feel your absence." Silence. That was worse than either of them expected. Kael exhaled slowly. "Yeah, that's not ideal." "No." Her eyes held his now. "That is how they will try to break us. Not through force, not through attack, through separation." Kael stepped closer, not cautiously, deliberately. "Then we don't let them." She shook her head slightly. "You cannot always control where you are taken. Then we control how we respond." Her gaze searched his. "You speak as if this is strategy." "It is. Everything they do will have a pattern." Her expression shifted slightly, because that was something she understood. "Pressure points," he continued. "Moments where they think we're weakest. Yes. Then we prepare for those moments." The bond warmed. This wasn't just survival, it was planning. Elaris stepped closer. Their distance now, intentional, controlled. "If they isolate you," she said, "you must not follow the hunger." Kael gave a small, dry smile. "Yeah, that part's becoming clear." Her voice softened. "You must focus on me." "I already do." "No." She shook her head. "Not physically. Through the bond." That landed differently. "You can reach me," she said, "even if I'm not beside you." Kael frowned slightly. "How?" She stepped closer again, until there was almost no space between them. "Like this." She lifted her hand, placing it lightly against his chest. The bond responded instantly, not violently, deeply. "Focus," she said. He did, not on her presence, on her control. Her steadiness, her refusal to break. The connection sharpened, clearer than before, stronger. "You feel that?" she asked. He nodded slowly. "Yeah, that is how you anchor yourself. And how I will find you." This was no longer instinct, no longer reaction. It was becoming something else, a skill, a shared discipline. Kael exhaled. "Okay. Then what's the other part?" Elaris studied him. "The other part," her voice lowered, "is trusting that I will not let them turn you into something you are not." Silence. "Because that went both ways." Kael's gaze softened slightly. "And you trust me to do the same." She didn't hesitate. "Yes." The bond pulsed again, stronger, not from hunger, from agreement. Beyond the chamber, the citadel moved, quietly, deliberately. Orders were not spoken aloud, but they were understood. Watch them, test them, separate them, if the moment allows. Commander Rhyven stood in the shadow of a high corridor, silent, waiting. Because unlike the others, he did not fear what the bond might become. He intended to prove that it would fail. Elaris exhaled slowly. "They will move soon." Kael nodded. "Good." She raised a brow. "You welcome it?" He gave a faint smile. "I'd rather know how this breaks before it actually does." That almost made her laugh. Almost. Instead, she stepped closer. resting her forehead lightly against his. Not from need, from certainty. "Then we do not break," she said softly. The bond steadied, grounded, alive. They had survived instinct, they had survived pressure. Now, they would face something far more dangerous. Intent. Because hunger can be resisted. But a world that refuses to change will always try to destroy what does. The separation attempt. They did not wait long. They never do, because in Velmora, patience is not kindness, it is strategy. The corridors had grown quieter, too quiet. Princess Elaris Vale felt it first, not through sight, not through sound, through absence. "They're moving," she said softly. Kael glanced toward the far end of the hall. "I was just thinking the same thing." The bond pulsed, low, alert. Elaris's gaze sharpened. "We should not remain exposed." Kael nodded. "Lead the way." They turned, moving quickly, not running, but purposeful. The corridor curved ahead, narrow, dimly lit, a choke point, too perfect. Elaris slowed. "Wait." Kael stopped instantly. "What is it?" Her voice lowered. "They want us to pass through. They want to separate us." Silence. Kael exhaled slowly. "Then we don't go that way." Elaris shook her head. "They have already accounted for that." The bond shifted, tightened, warning. Too late. The lights dimmed, just slightly, but enough. A sound behind them. Footsteps. Multiple. Kael turned, but the moment he did, the floor beneath him shifted. A panel, silent, precise, opened. Kael. Elaris moved instantly. Too late. The mechanism triggered, a barrier, a wall of dark crystal, slammed down between them. Kael was gone. He hit the ground hard, rolling, catching himself. His breath knocked from him. The moment he stood, he felt it. The bond, strained, pulled, not broken, but stretched. Elaris, no answer, but not silence. He could still feel her, distant, focused, searching. Elaris struck the barrier hard. The crystal didn't crack, didn't move. Her eyes darkened, not with hunger, with fury. Rhyven. The name echoed sharp. Dangerous. No answer. But she knew. This was his design. Her hand pressed against the barrier, the bond surged. Kael. This time, not spoken aloud, felt. Kael froze. There. Faint, but clear. "Her. I hear you," he said under his breath. The bond pulsed, stronger. But then, something else rose. The hunger. Without her, it was different. Not guided, not balanced, raw. The pull hit him harder than before. Not in waves, constant. His breath tightened. His focus narrowed. Not on survival, on instinct. His eyes flickered, searching. The chamber around him dim, cold, but not empty. There were guards, still, watching, alive. And suddenly, he understood the danger. Elaris felt it, instantly. The shift in him, uncontrolled. Her breath caught. "No," her voice dropped, urgent. "Kael, do not follow it." His jaw clenched. "I'm trying." The hunger surged again, stronger, his gaze locked on the nearest pulse. The guard shifted slightly, and that was enough. This was the moment. Not hers. His. Kael stepped forward. One step. Stopped. Because something reached him, not force, not command. Her, steady, controlled. Her voice, clear. "You are not alone." His breath shook. "I feel it, I know." Focus. He closed his eyes, forced it. Not the hunger, her control, her choice. Her refusal to break. The bond sharpened. Clearer, stronger. The hunger resisted, pushed, demanded. But now, it met something else. Him, his decision. Kael exhaled, slow, controlled. "I'm here," he said. Elaris felt it, the shift, the resistance. And her breath steadied. "That's it," she whispered. "Stay with me." The bond held, not perfectly, not easily, but it held. Because now, it was not one resisting, it was two. Kael opened his eyes. The guards were still there, still alive, still safe. His breath steadied, the hunger quieted, not gone, but contained. Elaris stepped back from the barrier, her eyes no longer dark, clear, certain. "They failed," she said softly. They had tried to separate them, to break the bond through distance, to prove that without her, he would fall. But they had been wrong, because what they had created was not dependence. It was connection, and connection does not vanish with distance, it endures. When they come for him, the bond held. But Velmora had learned something, and what it learned changed the game. Kael stood still, breathing steady, the hunger contained, but the room around him had not changed. The guards had not moved, had not spoken. That was wrong. "You're not here to watch," Kael said, his voice calm, controlled. One of the guards stepped forward, not hesitant, not uncertain. "Orders have changed." Kael's eyes narrowed slightly. The guard's expression did not shift. "You are to be relocated." There it was. Kael exhaled slowly. "Let me guess, without her." No answer. That was answer enough. Elaris felt it the moment the decision was made, not spoken, not seen, felt. The bond shifted, tightened, threatened. "They're moving him." Her voice was no longer calm. It was sharp, focused. The crystal barrier behind her, still intact, still in her way. Her hand lifted, this time not to feel it, to break it. The air around her changed. Not hunger, not instinct. Power. Ancient. Controlled. And now, unleashed. Kael took a step back, not in fear, in awareness. "They're not going to ask nicely, are they?" The guards moved, all at once. Fast. Too fast for a human to match, but not too fast for him to read. The bond flared, instinct sharpened, time slowed, just slightly. Kael moved, not perfectly, but enough. He dodged the first strike, barely. Caught the second, redirected it, stumbled, recovered. Not trained, not practiced, but adapting. The bond fed him something new, not strength, awareness. Above, Elaris struck the barrier. The crystal cracked, not fully, but enough. Her eyes burned, not with hunger, with intent. "You will not take him." Her voice carried not through the corridor, through the bond. Kael felt it, her, closer now. Breaking through. "Yeah," he muttered under his breath. "Would be nice." Another guard lunged. This time, Kael didn't just react, he anticipated. The bond pulsed, guiding, not controlling. He moved, clean, efficient. And for the first time, he wasn't just surviving, he was holding ground. The barrier shattered. Not cleanly, not quietly, violently. Elaris stepped through the fracture, without hesitation. The air around her shifted. Because now, she was no longer contained. The guards below felt it. Before they saw her, they felt her. The presence, the pressure. The Princess of Velmora, not as ruler, as force. The door exploded inward. Stone cracked, dust scattered. Elaris entered, still, silent, deadly. Every guard froze, not by command, by instinct. Her gaze moved instantly, alive, standing. That mattered. Everything else, secondary. Step away from him. Her voice was quiet, which made it worse. One guard hesitated. That was enough. Elaris moved, not fast, precise. Her hand caught his wrist, twisted, disarmed, dropped him. Effortless. The others didn't advance, they understood. This was no longer a test. Kael straightened slightly. "Timing," he said. She didn't look away from the guards. "I told you they would move." "Yeah." Next time we skipped the separation part. That almost broke her composure. Almost. Footsteps echoed again, slower, measured. Commander Rhyven entered. He took in the scene, the broken door, the fallen guard, the distance between them. "You have escalated this." Elaris turned. No, her voice steady. "You have. You attempted to take what is mine." The bond flared, not from possession, from protection. Rhyven's gaze sharpened. "He is the variable. He is my equal." That is the problem. Silence. Because now, it was no longer implied, it was stated. Kael stepped forward, not behind her, beside her. "Yeah," he said calmly, "we've been over that." Rhyven's eyes locked onto him. "You do not understand the world you are standing in." Kael didn't flinch. "No, but I understand her." That landed harder than anything else. Because that was what the court feared. Not strength, connection. Elaris stepped forward, just slightly. "That is enough." Her voice carried authority now, not request, command. "This ends." Rhyven held her gaze. A long moment. Then, slowly, he stepped back. Not defeat, withdrawal. "This is not over." Elaris didn't hesitate. "I know." The line had been crossed, not by instinct, by action. They had tried to separate them. They had tried to take him, and she had answered, not as princess, as something else. Something the court had not accounted for. Not weakness, not imbalance, but loyalty that would not yield. As the chamber fell quiet, Kael glanced at her. So, a faint breath. That felt like a turning point. She looked at him. It was. They will not test us again, he raised a brow. No? Her voice lowered. Next time. Her eyes darkened slightly. They will try to end it. The bond steadied, not afraid, ready.